My name is Hunter, and today I'm going to be going over the best Grandin Road Halloween animatronics. Let's begin. So, starting off this list, we have the 2011 animated monster. This is a very amazing prop, and I really do like this guy. The attention to detail on his outfit and his face just really pays off, and he's now one of the most wanted Grandin Road animatronics of all time. Next on this list is the Rising Coffin Vampire. This is another example of an amazing prop released by Grandin Road, and it's actually a very rare prop to this day, again like the animated monster. But what makes this prop different is its unique design and functions. Essentially what happens here is the vampire would lay down in his coffin, and then as soon as its sensor is triggered or it hears a loud sound, it would rise up and look in their direction, which I think is a really nice design and idea. Overall, it's a nice family-friendly prop, and it's definitely one I recommend getting if you can find him on like eBay or something, because he's a great and rare prop to get. Coming up next is the pop-up ghost. This is another prop that I do personally want, because it's like a lot of the new techie stuff with the pop-up vampire and pop-up werewolf, same kind of body, but this one is a ghost. Next up on the list we have the Witchy Witch. This prop is only on this list because of how good it looks, and I do like hanging props, because hanging props with good motion like this one is certainly very good for haunts and stuff, and it's a witch prop, which I do love. The only thing I have to say about this is its phrases are a bit strange and often are quite funny to listen to, so I'll let you listen to a few of them now.
Witcherly do I see you?
Next we have the Snow White inspired animated talking witch. This is another unique prop because of its movement and design. The witch sways back and forth as she holds her apple, and her head knobs up and down as she moves her mouth. She speaks around 4 different spooky phrases, which I think is nice, and she is an overall amazing prop to get, because if you do like Snow White and fairy tales, she is one to add to your collection. Another nice feature about this prop is her clothing. She has white hair like a lot of the witches I have, and her robe is just a black robe with the inside of the sleeves having a white interior, which is a nice amount of detail to this prop. But overall, great prop, and if I can find this near me for a reasonable price, I will pick this one up. Next on the list we have another witch prop. This one is the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz, and what makes this prop unique to its other counterparts sold at Spirit Halloween is that this one's actually riding a broomstick, unlike the other ones sold at Spirit. The one sold at Spirit Halloween was holding the broom rather than riding it, but out of the two I personally prefer this one because it makes more sense for her to be riding it than just holding it still, and it just adds that bit more characteristic to her. And yeah, with her moving side to side head and her mouth movement, her head is completely latex as well. Her eyes light up red, and she speaks a lot of phrases. I've got to admit, when I actually seen this one in person somewhere, a store had it near me, but she has a lot of phrases, and I think that's really nice, because a lot of these props tend to only have a few phrases, but no, she speaks a lot of her lines from the movie, which I think is amazing. Here we have a more updated version of the Coffin Vampire. This one is a bit more advanced than the last one we saw, but yeah, I've said what I thought about these props on the previous one. Next we have the 6-foot shaken zombie. This is another life-size decoration that I really like, because it doesn't just move side to side, it also shakes frantically. And in this demonstration here, the arms both move up and down, which is a really nice detail. And the eyes appear to light up, so that's pretty good. Next is one of my personal favourite props on this list. This is the animated head-turning Tara. And what the name suggests, she's standing against the wall and then her head spins right back round. This is a very scary prop and will definitely scare some people in your haunted house, or you could just have her in your house as a decoration for Halloween, which I would personally do, since my haunt themes don't really have anything that themes around her this year. But it's definitely an awesome prop to get as well, and it is a life-size one, so yeah. If you can find this prop, do definitely get it, because it's definitely worth the money. Now we have the red version of the Zombie Groundbreaker. This is my personal favourite out of both the Groundbreakers, and will be the only one on this list. Partly because he's now really hard to find, and the other model can be found in a lot of stores, especially in the UK. This is an exclusive prop to Grandin Road when it was first released, but it can be found in a lot of places now that it's been widely spread. Definitely a great prop, and it is reasonably priced as well, and it has a lot of movement for such a tiny prop. Alright, so now we're on to the Medusa bust. This is another one of my personal favourites because the snakes in her hair move. And this is the one with the red eyes version and a red mouth, of course. The one I have has a green light in its mouth and green eyes. But that's the only difference between mine and this one. And yeah, I actually have this one, so it is an amazing prop to get. So I would recommend getting her. Now let's move on to the next prop. Here we have Endora, the life-size witch. This is the witch that actually inspired the cauldron stirring witches you see today. She is pretty hard to find now because of her rarity and stuff. And yeah, I can see why, because her animation she's really animated. Like, her hips move side to side and she has a fully working cauldron. Yeah, the witch I have is a lot similar to this, except it doesn't have the light up eyes. But yeah, if you do have this prop, then that's really cool because I really do love him. And it's one of the best props that Grandin Road has ever sold, really. Now we're on to the mad scientist himself, Dr. Shivers. This is probably my favourite prop that Grandin Road has ever sold in the Halloween healing range. It's a very old prop, but it definitely animated, like you can see behind it in its demo video here, the life-size animated monster. So these two definitely go very well together. And yeah, he's a laboratory scientist, so he goes very well with like lab themes, obviously. And yeah, he looks super cool, and you can actually fill his beaker with water, and his animation on him is amazing. He's got light up eyes and his goggles, as you can see. He also has a very nice outfit with his lab coat and gloves. Overall, definitely one I recommend getting. That pretty much sums up the best Grandin Road Halloween animatronics. If you did enjoy today's video, please consider subscribing, as it would help me out severely, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another upload that I make. And remember, I'm Ominous Hunter, and it's never too early for Halloween.